Hey guys, Rick with Rally Sport Direct here. In front of me I've got the Whiteline rear crossmember bushing inserts. Behind me I've got our 2014 Scion FR-S, and I'm really excited to not only show this to you guys, but to also install them on our car. And I wanted to go over the product with you first, so let's go ahead and take them out of the package here. So they come really nicely packaged, and you get, of course, really detailed instructions on how to install these, which is fantastic. You also get some sweet grease as well, but these are the bushings themselves. Now they are different. You can see here, basically one's for top, one's for bottom. And so in order to install these, we're gonna have to drop down the rear subframe just a little bit, enough to slide the upper bushing up above, and then the rear bushing below, and then we're gonna bolt it back up. Now, I would highly recommend that when you do this, you have something to support that cross member, whether you're using a floor jack or whether you're using a transmission jack, or basically something to where you can lift that subframe back up. That's gonna really help with the install, so just be aware of that. But why would you want these on your FR-S or your BRZ? And to me, these particular bushings make a world of difference. There aren't, I guess there aren't a whole lot of bushings on the car that are, I would say, easy to install and, more than worth the money and the time you put into it, but these are definitely one of them. So basically, your whole rear cross member sits on the chassis of the car, and it's, basically isolated by these big soft rubber bushings. Well, as you go around a corner, that whole subframe is just gonna shift left and right, forward and backwards, and it's kind of squishy. These will definitely help firm that up. And the nice thing about it is you really don't add a whole lot of noise, harshness, and vibration. I actually had these installed on my personal BRZ. I've installed them on other BRZs as well as STIs and WRXs, and it makes a world of difference. It's one of those mods I would recommend to everybody. If you're trying to get some better handling out of the car, better feel out of the car, these are a huge improvement. Now, it may seem intimidating to drop down that rear subframe a little bit, but really it's not too bad. Once you do it once, probably take you, 20, 30 minutes to do the whole install once you have everything kind of set up and ready to go. So we're gonna go ahead and install these. I'm gonna do a brief video on the install. And then I'd also like to give you guys a post-review video as well, just to kind of give you my impressions, even though, of course, I already know exactly how I feel about them. I know the type of difference they make, but on this car in particular, because we've done, suspension, we've done an LSD, larger brakes, big sticky tires. I mean, it's critical now that we start focusing on the actual suspension components other than just coilovers and things like that, where the bushings really start to make a big difference in this car. So I'm very, very excited. So thank you for watching. I opted for the inserts as opposed to the full bushing replacement, which makes the installation so much easier. Dropping that rear subframe, granted, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I didn't really want to drop the entire subframe, and we're trying to build this car up in increments. And so I would recommend the bushing inserts, the rear subframe bushing inserts, to literally anybody who buys a BRZ or an FR-S. That would be one of my go-to modifications, just because it makes a big difference in the way the car responds around corners, makes that rear end feel so much more planted, so much more direct, and the car just responds a lot better to your inputs. Particularly, initial turn-in is a lot better. You're not kind of getting that car washing out on you. And then if you ever do get like a tank slapper where you do slip the rear end out a little bit and it wants to kind of kick back on you, that's a lot less severe, or I guess feels a lot more controllable. And the installation, pretty easy. I mean, you're basically taking out the 4 big bolts, lowering the subframe down a little bit, putting the bushings in and slapping them back up in. And but noise, harshness, and vibration, let's talk about that. You do notice it a little bit. I shouldn't say a lot. I actually had a BRZ, and that was one of the first modifications I did. I am a stickler when it comes to noise, harshness, and vibration, particularly on my personal cars, because I do drive them every day, and I don't want anything that's gonna be overly aggressive or noisy or anything like that. And you do notice it a little bit, but it's one of those things that after a day or two you drive it, you just don't really notice it anymore, but you still notice the performance gains you get out of those bushings. And Whiteline, of course, fantastic company. They make fantastic bushings, very, very high quality. And I just want to go find some corners. This is a good one to throw this car around, just because I like the way everything feels in the car. It just feels proper. It feels like the car is responding to your inputs. It's not soaking up, you know, basically all those cornering loads. It's just much more direct, and really it's how this car should be right out of the box. I mean, some things Subaru and Scion, Toyota nailed right out of the box, but bushings is something that I feel like these cars can definitely use. It makes a big difference. And again, you really don't have to sacrifice very much comfort in order to get some very nice gains from it. And so for that, I'm very happy with these bushings. And of course, we will be continuing to update you on this car with videos. And I'm very excited to see where this build goes, because we have big plans for it, and we're just updating it, putting on more parts, basically seeing what we want to do next to the car. So we really appreciate the feedback, the support you guys have given us. You know, please stay tuned, keep watching our videos. Really appreciate it. We'll see you next time.